The successful adoption of the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism by the South Australian Parliament is an excellent achievement. But there is a backstory that our communal organisations would rather you not know about. Sarah Game is a politician in that state parliament. She is not religious, but in fact is the first halakhically Jewish politician in the South Australian Parliament for 100 years. A few weeks ago, she proposed a motion for South Australia to adopt the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, and on the 7th of July 2022, with a lot of input from the AJA, it was formally accepted. That's a big deal. But here's what you haven't heard much about and why. First up, Sarah Game is with One Nation. So to most of our communal leadership, regardless of this outstanding result in getting the IHRA definition adopted, she and her party are pariahs who should never have been involved. Never mind that just like other political parties, the politics of One Nation members are not monolithic, and there is indeed a range of opinions within the party. Not everyone involved fits the commonly accepted single stereotype. This matter also highlights an important principle in political advocacy. Communal organisations should have a political maturity that enables them to work with politicians of all stripes, even when there may be areas of disagreement on other issues. Without this maturity, there could be a lot of good ideas that simply won't get acted on. Take note, communal organisations. And on that theme, I think the main reason you haven't heard much about this great result is because our communal organisations can't take any of the credit for it. Apart from a very begrudging acknowledgement that it happened from AJAC on Facebook, nothing has been heard from the ECAJ, the ZFA, or De Vere's Anti-Defamation Commission. Very strange from a group of leaders who have opinions on everything Jewish and who like to tell us all how good they are at representing our community. Getting the IHRA definition adopted in South Australia was entirely an initiative of the Australian Jewish Association, which now begs the question, in order to discredit the AJA and One Nation, would some of our communal leadership have preferred this not succeed? From the reports, you could be forgiven also for thinking that the AJA was a troublemaking nuisance organisation that interfered in a very worthwhile political process, which was only saved by the Jewish Community Council of South Australia, JCCSA, the state affiliate with the ECAJ. The truth is that David Adler, president of the AJA, worked not only with Sarah Game, but with the Adelaide Hebrew congregation and the former president of the JCCSA. The current president was invited to participate, but she had previously refused to even meet with AJA in Adelaide. David and Sarah also secured the support of the South Australian Liberal Party. The Australian Jewish News didn't exactly cover itself in journalistic glory with the way it reported this story. The first report on the 8th of July, which dealt with the lead up to the South Australian vote, was so heavily spun against the AJA that it bore virtually no resemblance to the truth. It threw a bag full of negative angles at the story, some totally false, as well as using highly emotive words like lone wolf for added effect, a term usually associated with a terrorist. And it deliberately avoided mentioning anything that painted the AJA as the positive influence that it was. This was appalling journalism. The follow-up report on the 14th of August was more circumspect with the facts. But you know, the Australian Jewish News still could not bring itself to congratulate the AJA for its collaboration with Sarah Game and many others in leading this campaign to its successful conclusion. The real stumbling block here was the Australian Palestinian Action Network, funded in South Australia by a prominent Arab family, and which intensively lobbied the Labor MPs to abandon the motion, or at least water it down. As stated in a letter by PM Albanese to Israel's President Herzog, federal Labor supports IHRA, and with this endorsement, Sarah Game, David Adler, and those working with them got it over the line. More importantly, not only were they successful, but the definition was accepted in full, without any changes or dilutions made to the wording. The Australian Jewish News should consider what good journalism is all about. Furthermore, our Jewish communal organisations should always put the interests of the Jewish community first and foremost, particularly on such an important issue as anti-Semitism. And that is something for them all to reflect upon. This is Alan Friedman for the Australian Jewish Association.